It's your boy, Marky, yo. Thank God for a blessed day today, Lord. Please bless everybody that's watching this video, Lord. And we back at it again with another reaction, man. Yes, sir, man. Before we start this video, of course, we got a video of Larry Bird once again. This is a little story on how Larry Bird went to Indiana State and stuff like that. But before I start this video, I just want to let y'all know, man, make sure y'all just, building a relationship with the man upstairs, man. Take your time in the Bible, or take your time praying every single day when you wake up. Pray for your food, you know what I'm saying, when you go to sleep, because it's a lot of people out here that just don't wake up. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest blessing, just to be able to wake up every single day. So just give thanks to the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? Because without God, we are nothing at all, But hopefully I'll become one of y'all favorite reactors one day, man. And make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all want to see next, man. And let's get straight into this banger, man. Shout out to Larry Bird, man.
You influenced Larry Bird to come to Indiana State. I don't know how much you can share about that.
Oh, yeah, and I'm from Indiana, too. If new people didn't know, I'm from Indiana.
Kind of
just
the
like Bird.
relationship you had,
Shout out
and
to
what kind
Indiana.
of person Larry Bird was.
I saw Larry play when he was a junior. I was up there looking at Kurt Gilstrap at another school, and saw Larry play. And, he was 6'3". I thought, well, that kid's really good, but he's, I don't know if he's quick enough to play guard at the Division I level. And then I saw him again in the Indiana All-Star game, and he'd grown 4 inches.
Wow.
And I changed my mind real quick. I thought he was the best player on the All-Star team. As it turned out, he was. It's just that he was the 11th pick. He's from a small town, southern Indiana, and didn't get much publicity. And, if he hadn't signed at Indiana University, he probably wouldn't have been on the All-Star team. When I got to Indiana State, I asked Coach King if they had been recruiting Larry. I said, he's down in French Lick. And he said, no. I said, he said, do you think he's good enough? I said, Coach, he can get double-doubles for us. He said, well, maybe you better go see him then. And so the next day I was in French Lick and looking all over for him. When I finally got to sit down,
that's crazy. That's how they used to do back in the day. Go look for the players.
In a small town,
now you can recruit.
We were a lot alike. And he was so shy he wouldn't look at you. He looked at the floor when he talked to you. Right. And we talked about him coming to visit Indiana State. And we talked about his teammates. And he had a kid that played who was a year older than him. And he said, you need to be recruiting Kevin Carnes, but I don't know if he'd come. He's married, and I think his wife might be pregnant. And I don't know if she'd let him, but he'd have been a great player if he'd have gone to college. And I looked at him and said, Larry, they're going to say that about you one of these days if you don't take advantage of this opportunity. And I think that's probably, that really rang a bell with him, and I think that probably is the reason why he ended up at Indiana State.
Talking about Larry, I want to hear the story about Larry worked for the street department there back in French Lick, correct?
That's correct.
And it's like he was not planning on going to play basketball anymore. You have an amazing presence and connection with people. And Larry Bird probably would not ever go on to play unless you connected with him. Was it that close for him just kind of continue on working for the street department in French Lick?
Well, I don't know. When you look back on it, when we sat there and we talked about a lot of things. We talked about baling hay. That's how we made our money during the summer. They'd pay us, we'd get a group of guys, and they'd pay us 3 to 4 cents a bale to put the hay, put it up, and put it in the barn.
That's right.
And
3 to 4
he
cents?
did the same thing. And we had a lot of, we played basketball on the outdoor courts, and just, we had a lot in common. And when we sat there and talked, I asked him what he was doing and he was working for the street department. I said, what all do you do? He said, well, different things. On Mondays, we'll clean the parks and pick up lambs and mow the grass. And maybe Tuesday we'll paint curbs, and Wednesday, and he went on, he said, on Thursday,
hard-working man.
we always pick up garbage. And I
Stay
said,
busy.
What,
Stay
on the
busy.
garbage truck? He said, yeah. I said, you drive the truck? He said, hell no, Sam drives the truck, I'm on the back. And the other assistant was there with me, and we kept going. And I asked Larry, "You think you come to visit us at Indiana State?" He said, "Well, I don't know." And the other assistant said, "Well, what do you want to work on the garbage truck for $2 the rest of your life?" And Larry looked at him and said, "Well, I kind of like the job." And it kind of ticked him off, so I thought, I better get Stan and get out of here before Stan really makes him mad. And so I said, I got up. I said, "Larry, we got to go." I said, "I'll be back in a couple days, and you think it over." But he was okay with working that job. He was
cool working that job, making $2.
But he's really humble. He didn't get to talking trash until he was in the pros.
Dang.
Right.
So
when he was a great player. Tell me now, but they went when they, I guess him and some other guys came to your school and they actually scrimmaged some of your players, and I think beat them pretty good, right?
Yeah. Well, what happened is, I'd gone back in 2 days and I had all the paperwork, the envelope address, had a stamp on it. And all I needed was Larry's signature. And so when I went back, they invited me in the house and fixed me some iced tea. And we sat there and chatted. And he said, "How do you know I was going to do the paperwork? I was going to sign." I said, "Well, this doesn't mean anything. You don't have to go anywhere. But if you sign this, it gives you permission to go." And so he signed, and I took it to the post office myself and mailed it. I said, when would you guys like to come visit? He asked me if a friend could come with him. I said, sure. And so he said, well, sometime this week. He said, do you practice in the afternoon? I said, yeah, our guys play pickup every afternoon. He said, what time? I said, generally at 3:30. He said, okay, well, we'll think about it. Well, I forget what day it was, but somebody came to my house and said, "Hey, Coach, Larry Bird's looking for you." And I said, "No kidding." So I got up, went out, and they were in the gym. And him and three of his buddies, I said, "Well, you guys want to scrimmage against our guys?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, got jeans and T-shirt." I said, "Yeah, you want me
ready for work?
You want me to get you some shorts to wear?" He said, "No, we just play these."
That's right.
What?
So I said, "Okay." They just beat the snot out of him. I mean, they hammered. And I'll tell you, Larry he really he made our guys look real normal.
What? No, Bird. Larry Bird? You talking about Larry the legend? Came in there with some jeans on and a white tee and probably some boots and gave them the work. Larry the legend? Larry the legend. Ain't no way. And this not even college. Wait, is this college? Oh, this is going into college. I think it was going into college. And he really liked his job. Basketball, he just did it for fun. And then out of nowhere, this man is one of the greatest to ever do it. Like, that don't make that. I don't know. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to say. Like, Bird, like, said, "Man, I don't need no shorts. Hoopers. Yeah, I'll take some shorts, some gym shoes, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? I rock with that. You know what I'm saying?" He said, "Nah, I'll keep the jeans on. I'll keep my tee on. I'm cool, bro. We do this. You know what I'm saying? We do this." And gave them the whooping. That tells a lot about Bird, man. You know what I'm saying? I love deep and diving into new things that I didn't know. It's new stories always every day on my page. So if you're new to my channel, man, make sure y'all just like, comment, subscribe, because I'm coming with heat every time and I'm not missing no days. Right now I'm tired. I'm ready to go. I want to go to sleep. Had to get up, get my hair done. You know what I'm saying? I had to put it in the do-rag to lay it down and stuff like that. But I'm dropping for y'all, man. But God bless y'all, man. Keep God first in y'all life. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. Continue to keep tuning in, and I'm out. Holla. Like a dollar.